May ambag sa ekonomiya ang election period dahil sa laki ng ginagastos ng mga kandidato sa kanilang kampanya. Tila dumarami na rin ang mga bilyonaryo na sumasabak sa politika. Yan ang agenda report ni Sujin Kim.
Ayon sa mga eksperto, ang campaign spending ay may direktang epekto sa paggalaw ng GDP sa second quarter.
Maybe it's only by 0.3 to 0.5 percentage points. And this is mainly because of the increased consumption of both goods and services, particularly in the following sectors like food, retail, transport, logistics, and media.
Kung aabot man yan ng halimbawa, malapit-lapit sa 100 billion, ano bang impact niya sa ekonomiya? Kasi medyo, may konting pick-up, yes. No? Kasi kung 100 billion, no? Although that's a very rough estimate, no? Mga niyan, kung 100 billion, that is just around 0.2 to 0.3 of the economy. 0.2 to 0.3% of the economy. Kahit pa paano may konting dagdag, di ba? Kung economic growth, di ba, ngayon, malapit-lapit sa 6%, magdadagdag ng mga 0.2 to 0.3.
Ang halagang ito ay napupunta sa mga ad materials, event logistics at supply chains na umaarangkada tuwing halalan. At dahil mataas ang paggastos, umaakyat din ang kumpiyansa ng mga consumer na mag-loan.
Like credit card receivables, they've been growing like 30% consistently, even prior to the election factor. No? And, overall consumer loans have grown like around 25% year on year.
Pero ang election-related demand ay maaaring maglagay ng pressure sa presyo ng mga produkto, partikular sa mga urban centers.
The bigger risk here is when supply becomes suddenly tight. Then prices can spike disproportionately, particularly in urban and logistical hubs.
At hindi nagtatapos sa araw ng botohan ang economic impact ng halalan dahil sa post-election dip.
It's actually real. It actually happens because after the surge of demand, particularly in Q1 and Q2, the succeeding quarters would see a softer private consumption because services production are now normalizing. So it's typically shaving around 0.2 to 0.4 percentage points of quarter-on-quarter momentum.
Sa usapin naman ng mga bilyonaryo sa balota, mula kina Camille Villar, Floribel Coyatco, Zaldico, Yeda Romualdez at Albi Benitez, dumarami ang mga negosyante at bilyonaryo na pumapasok sa politika.
These people do have the capability to launch a nationwide campaign and at the same time are educated enough with certain degrees, certain training in order for them to perform the job. However, the challenge here is to really draw the line, a thick line, a delineate between their private practice and their government service.
Kung ma-replicate yung skills, no, sa pag-manage sa mga malalaking negosyo, naging successful at i-replicate yon sa pamahalaan, paghikayat din ng maraming mga negosyante na mamuhunan dito sa ating bansa and the environment that is required. So dapat mas nauunawaan nila yon. Kung lilikhayan ng maraming trabaho, maraming oportunidad.
Ngunit giit ng parehong ekonomista, kailangang ipagtanggol ang public interest. Anila, may malinaw na hangganan na dapat igalang.
Kung talagang gusto nila maglingkod at successful na sila sa kanilang kapasidad, dapat may check and balances yan eh. Kung baka gamitin nila yan for their own interest as against yung interest na paglalaban nila yung for the general public, no? Yung public good.
Sa halalang ito, ang boto ay hindi lang desisyon sa kung sino, kundi kung saan tutungo ang ekonomiya ng bansa. Para sa agenda, Sujin Kim, Billionaire News Channel.